In this video, we're going to answer the question as to when is the best time to sign up for Social Security benefit. So we're going to discuss taking it early, taking it late, and the advantages and disadvantages of the two. We're going to talk a little bit about cost of living adjustment, aka COLA, and then to wrap it all up, we'll talk about everyone's favorite topic, how Social Security is taxed. So let's get to it. So there are three main ages to consider when we're looking at Social Security. So it's taking it early, full retirement age, and taking it late. Now, the earliest time frame to take Social Security is 62. Talking about old age pension here, not Social Security disability. So the earliest time frame is 62, right? And your full retirement age is determined by your birthday. So for instance, folks that were born in 1958, their full retirement age is 66 years and 8 months. Folks that were born in 1959, their full retirement age is 66 years and 10 months. And then folks that were born in 1960 and later, their full retirement age is 67. Now, there've been discussion about increasing full retirement age. Not going to discuss that in this video. You could look at one of my previous videos that talks about what's happening with Social Security. It will talk a little bit more about potential changes, including increasing full retirement age. But currently, full retirement age for folks that were born in 1960 or later is 67. Now, you could sign up for Social Security any later than 67 than 67 than you want, but there's no real benefit to signing up for Social Security later than age 70, and we'll discuss a little bit more about that later in this video. Let's look at a live scenario here of someone who signed up for Social Security early. So this person, their earnings over their lifetime, average earnings at $60,000 per year. Now, you'll see their full retirement age at 67, they'd be getting $3,583 per month. However, if they decided that they wanted to take it early at 62, they'd be taking a 30% reduction, right? So 30% reduction in benefit is what they'd be receiving here, as opposed to if they were to take it at 67. However, let's say this person actually waited to age 70, they'd be getting a much higher benefit. Now, if you decide to take it later, you're getting a guaranteed 8%. Every year, your benefit increase 8% per year up to when you're 70. If you decided to take it any later than 70, there is no increase beyond 70. And that's why there is no real benefit to waiting any longer than 70, because it's not going to increase any more past 70. Now, there are some instances where your benefit increases, but those are not guaranteed. So that's through cost of living adjustment. So the administration will look at the increase in consumer prices, and based on that, they'll give an increase in your overall benefit, right? Like if you look at 10 years ago, what a dollar could buy is not necessarily what a dollar could buy today, right? Based on inflation. So based on that, year over year, the administration would look at an increase through the cost of living adjustment just to try to keep up with consumer prices. So let's look at a few reasons as to why people will take benefit early. So the primary reason is you need the income now. If you don't need the income now, then you probably may want to wait a little bit longer to take the benefit. But if you need the income now, that's primarily one of the reasons why people will sign up for Social Security early. Now, the benefit of taking it early, right, is that you get a longer duration of benefit, right? You get to start taking it much earlier. If you live a long life, you get benefit over a longer time horizon. But the risk primarily is that you take a decreased benefit for life, right? Again, you could get a cost of living adjustment, but regardless of that, you would just not receive the amount that you'd receive if you had waited a little bit longer. Now, if it is that the amount that you're receiving, you decided or you realized that it was just not able to cover all your expenses, right? You have the option to cancel or withdraw the application up to 12 months of getting the benefit approved. Now, the downside is if you were to do that, if you had received any payment from the administration, you'd have to pay them back. Now, let's look at reasons as to why people will take it late. So if you were still working, right? If you're still working, you have the income, you're able to cover all your expenses, then maybe you probably should take it later, right? If you have additional sources of income, this is outside of you working, right? You have a pension, you have IRAs, stuff like that, other investments to which you can get income from, then probably you can consider taking a little bit later, allowing your benefit to grow, because as you realize from the example that we looked at before, your benefit grows year over year if you don't sign up for the benefit. So if you have the income, it would be a good reason for you to wait a little bit longer to have your benefit grow some more. Now, the benefit of taking it later, right, like we just discussed it will grow some more. But the risk is that you could pass away early and never receive the benefit, right? Let's take a look at an example here. So in 2020, the CDC had life expectancy at age 77.3. So if someone who took their benefit at 62 passed away at 70, they ultimately would have received a whole lot more benefit than if they had waited for 66 or 70, primarily because they passed away early. But we all want to live a long life, right? Now, if you were to live a long life, for instance, in this case here where these folks actually lived up to 93, folks that lived longer actually got well over $1 million in benefit out of Social Security alone, right? Again, same scenario. For this person was making $60,000 over their lifetime, right? Which is usually what's how the administration determines your monthly benefit, right? These folks that signed up later actually got well over $1 million as opposed to the person that signed up early at 62. Even though they're getting a benefit over a longer duration, the overall sum of money received from Social Security was less than a person that signed up later. Okay, so if you were to say, you know what, I don't want to take the risk, I want to take it early. If I need any additional sources of income, I'll go get a job, or I'll look at potentially, getting some more money from my business. Here's something that you want to consider. Now, with regards to the earnings test, right? If it is that you sign up early, right, and you needed more income, so you ultimately went back to work, Social Security would actually withhold $1 for every $2 earned over $23,400 per year. So you wanna make sure that the amount of money that you are, when you're deciding when to take the benefit, you wanna look at whether or not the benefit that you're gonna be receiving is going to be able to cover your expenses, and if not, how much extra will you need, because you could ultimately end up having to give back the administration some of the benefit that you're receiving because you're making too much money, right? So any amount that you're making over $23,400 as of 2025, you'd have to give back $1 for every $2 earned. Now, if you're making more than $62,160, you'd have to give back $1 for every $3 earned, right? And let's have a look at what that would look like. So these are the earnings that would affect the earnings test, or the different sources of income that would affect the earnings test. So employment income, right, or self-employment income. Pension, annuities, IRAs, dividends, interest income, capital gains, those won't affect it, right? Which is why I mentioned that if you've had to go back to work or get funds from self-employment, then you'd probably want to wait a little bit longer. Wait until you actually got beyond, right, full retirement age before signing up, because you could end up having to give back money to the administration. So let's look at how Social Security is taxed. Now, Social Security is taxable. I know sometimes people feel like Social Security is not taxable beyond a certain age. It's always taxable, but it's only taxable based on if you have additional sources of taxable income. So if you're filing taxes single, right, for income outside of Social Security that is taxable, right, $25,000 to $34,000, 50% of the benefit is taxable, right? And if you're making more than $34,000, then 85% of your Social Security benefit is taxable. So pretty much, what does that mean? If you have taxable income, again, outside of Social Security, right? What's going to happen is if the taxable income amounts to $25,000 to $34,000, half of the amount that you're receiving from your Social Security benefit would be tagged on to that income that is taxable, and then all that is what you'd be paying your taxes on, right? And similarly, if you're making over $34,000, right, then 85% of your Social Security is then tagged on to the taxable income that you're receiving, and then you're paying taxes based on that overall sum. For folks that are filing taxes jointly, right, it's any amount between $32,000 to $44,000 then makes 50% of your Social Security taxable, right? And for folks that are, again, filing taxes jointly, for those who are making more than $44,000, then it's 85% of your benefit that's taxable, right? Now, I know there are two things that they say are guaranteed in this world: is death and taxes. In this case, right, it proves to be the same, right? That if it is that you have additional sources of income, you could find yourself having to pay taxes from your Social Security. If it is that you find this video knowledgeable, it really gave you some insight, please subscribe, share, like the video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.